Greetings and salutations, my great friends. Welcome back to the Best Year Yet series.
Yes, and if you hear the big horn in the background, we're actually living our best year ever already, 2020 in St. Augustine, and we think a big ship just drove by. But that's the life of running a YouTube channel. So far in this series, in video number 1, your best year ever, I talked about the importance of you have to be able to say no to the things that don't help you have the best year ever. In video number 2, we talked about Stephen Covey's philosophy of beginning with the end in mind, thinking about who you need to become as a person to have your greatest year ever. Video 3, we imagined that I was calling you a year from now and you had had your greatest year ever and you were living your dreams. And then in video 4, what did we talk about in video 4, Kaylee?
Relationship?
Yes, that's right, my favorite topic. Relationships. All of life's opportunities come from relationships, so you have to have good ones. So once again, learn to say no, begin with the end in mind. What would you like your life to look like a year from now? And then what do you need to do to have great relationships? Now, once again, I've been coaching people for over 2 decades. I've worked with some Fortune 500 companies that you've eaten chicken sandwiches at. Talking about culture. Today's lesson is a doozy. And the question today to present to you is, what are your priorities? So Kaylee,
Yes.
Go ahead and share with our viewing audience, what are your top 5 priorities?
Getting my degree, getting a good job, growing our YouTube channel, my health, and my family.
Okay, so go ahead and say it one more time, your top 5.
Getting my degree, getting a good job, growing this YouTube channel, my health, and my family.
Okay, it's a great list. Now, she has been coached through this drill I do with my clients to where the reality is you can have about 5 priorities. I'll actually share with you mine now, and I actually call it my 3 buckets. I only have 3. Number 1 bucket is my relationship bucket. I'm a huge relationship guy, so that's bucket number 1 that I operate from. Bucket number 2 is my organization with some of my partners, the Dream Leader Institute, where we help individuals and organizations live out their dreams. And then my 3rd priority is my daughter Kaylee's dream, which is this YouTube channel, because she wanted to leave the world a better place. So as a coach, I see 2 things out there a lot. Number 1 is I have people write out their top 10 priorities, which we then narrow down to 5, and I walk in the room about 20 minutes later and there's a blank sheet of paper and they say, that's a really good question. I've never thought about that. And then the second person that I see is I come into the room and they've got 50 things written down. And I think back to the story I heard Richard Branson, I saw him speak one time, and he said at Virgin Atlantic, he never works on more than 3 priorities at a time. Because in his mind, at least professionally, if you have more than 3 priorities going on, you have no priorities. It reminds me of a famous thing I heard a long time ago. It goes something like, a dog who goes after 2 squirrels catches no squirrels, or a squirrel that goes after 2 nuts gets no nuts. So once I have my clients narrow down their list of 5 priorities, I then ask them these questions. Okay, number 1, now we have the squawking bird. But because this channel is a priority, we keep on trucking. It's like a lesson in a lesson. Once you know it's important, you keep on trucking.
Yep.
But I say, Kaylee, thinking about how you spend your time, are your priorities really your priorities?
Yes.
Okay? Now, all of the people on the list, your family, you list them as a priority. Do they know how much you love them?
Yes.
Okay, because they're indeed a priority. And then the 3rd kind of final question I ask, although it's 2 parts, is I say, well, would you like to have more time for your priorities, or is the time you're spending with your priorities appropriate?
I would say I would like to have more time.
Okay, so very honest answer there. And then I say, and this is my case in point about priorities really being priorities. I say, okay, If you want more time for your priorities, then what do you need to subtract out of your life so that your priorities get more of your time?
Unimportant things.
The unimportant things. Once again, and I promised Kaylee 2 weeks ago when I asked her the question of what do I need to change about myself, she said judgment, and sometimes I come across as hateful. I won't go hateful here, but the reality is I'm going to just spit out the facts. I've never had someone tell me that one of their priorities is spending 20 hours a week on social media. I've never had someone tell me their priority is playing in 10 fantasy football leagues. I've never had someone tell me one of their priorities is to spend hours a week at the bar, kicking them back and getting fall down drunk. I've never seen that. So our drill for you to have your best year ever is to go ahead, write down your top 10 priorities, and then ask yourself out of your top 10, what's the most important? And then what's the most important? And then what's the most important? And then finally, what's the most important? We want you to really narrow your list down to 5 or 6 things. And then we want you to really ask yourself, are your priorities really your priorities? Meaning how you spend your time. Do the people who are on your list know what a priority they are by you showing them and not telling them? And then thirdly, would you like more time with your priorities? And if not, what do you need to subtract? Once you have the priority list, our Friday video this week is going to be the coaching drill I use on people to keep them calibrated to their most important priorities so that they can live out their dreams. Anything else that you want to say to the camera, Kaylee?
Please hit like, subscribe, and share.
Yep, and thank you for making us a priority. We wanted to reach 100,000 people in 2020. That was our legacy we wanted to leave. Looks like we're going to wrap the year up 90,000 range. I call that failing forward, but 2021, because of like the compound interest model, the goal this year is we want to reach 1 million people. And then Kaylee and I, we really want to take our show on the road, and we want to go talk to businesses and their teams and show them our methods to get the business out of the porta potty by teaching people things that work both professionally and personally. We hope you're one of those companies. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to meet you and your team.